Помогите, люди,
In the protracted shadow of Russia's invasion, Western media since 2022 has touted Ukraine's looming victory, even as President Zelensky has pledged war to the last Ukrainian amid a manpower crisis. Population gutted by flight and fatalities, Kiev has ramped up the bussification of its citizenry, raiding conscripts from the shadows to help stem the hemorrhaging of over 110,000 desertions in early 2025 alone. Martial law prolonged into 2025 halts elections, insulating Zelensky from votes. Moreover, given the massive desertion rates of the bussified conscript army, a novel solution has been floated to microchip all soldiers, enabling real-time geofencing alerts if a soldier moves beyond authorized zones. Moreover, units caught deserting en masse would trigger immediate drone pursuit and financial penalties on families. And also now, given the scale of the slaughter, the head of the Ministry of Economy has stated that Ukraine will need approximately 10 million migrant men to restore the economy, thus making it clear that those conscripts currently are dying for a new Ukraine with a new population, soon to be imported once peace has been restored. 11 opposition parties have been banned since 2022. Television has been fused into one state mouthpiece. Media curbs stifle dissent under security pretexts. The Orthodox Church endures raids, clergy trials via a 2024 law targeting Moscow ties, and over 200 probes by late 2025, and that is per UN alarms. Zelensky's 2025 push to leash anti-graft bodies within the country ignited nationwide protests and the ire of his regime's financial backers, yielding a humiliating turnaround and retreat. However, corruption festers, and now the massive scandal within the energy sector that fingers his inner circle and possibly Zelensky himself in a $100 million theft and money laundering scandal, well, it is now felling ministers left and right. And on top of all of this, Germany has recently axed refugee perks for Ukrainians in 2025 and also is prodding Ukrainian men home to fight in the eroding proxy war. And now what we find is that the Churchill of our time has gone to become the steward of scandals as Zelensky steers his graft-riddled ship as aid ebbs and drafts deepen. If irony had a draft notice, this might be it. Delivered COD. And this is right alongside the Kremlin's latest plot twist. A cadre of Pyongyang's finest shipped in to bolster the front, only to discover that the real siege weapon isn't drones or artillery, but the unbridled web filled with naked women. But forget about naked sieges for the moment. The boldest assault you could make is on stiffness itself, and longevity coffee turns your brew into a battle for youth. Regular coffee hardens arteries within an hour, making them like rigid pipes, limiting physical activity. In order to be at your best, you need youthful, elastic arteries. Thus, a study published in Cell Journal found that in old mice, 12 weeks of NMN reversed stiffness by 60%. It's akin to swapping out 60-year-old pipes for 25-year-old elastics, even rejuvenating blood cells via nitric oxide. On this, here's David Sinclair from the Center for Biology of Aging at Harvard Medical School.
Of the people that I know that look freakishly and unusually young for their age, I cannot get over how many of them have told me that I'm on NAD, and I'm talking about visually, shockingly looking young people. So when you say NAD, or are you speaking specifically about this precursor that you were referencing?
Well, what I believe doesn't so much matter, but the scientific evidence points to
taking a supplement every day, a gram of NMN, which is this precursor, stands for nicotinamide mononucleotide for the aficionados. Just swallowing one of those, or 1,000 milligrams, is enough to double your NAD.
So switch the artery stiffening coffee with a great fix, longevity coffee, with NMN proven to bounce back elasticity and undo age-stiffened veins. With glutathione to zap toxins that make you age faster, D3 plus K2 to shuttle calcium to your bones, not your arteries, TMG for fat-burning precision, and magnesium glycinate, the gold standard for absorption. This isn't one supplement, it's a 10-in-1 formula. Real coffee backed by real science that rejuvenates your body from the inside out. And listen, this is a launch day plus Black Friday gargantuan deal. Buy one, get one completely free for 48 hours only. And it's the absolute best offer you'll ever see. Find the link in the description or pinned comment and grab this deal while it lasts. And take control of your health before someone else does it for you. In those shadowed annals of geopolitical intrigue, where the iron curtains of tyranny clash against the digital deluge of modernity, this most improbable farce unfolds upon the frostbitten steppes of Russia. Picture, if you will, the beleaguered legions of Kim Jong-un, those stoic sentinels of the Hermit Kingdom, forged in the crucible of unyielding indoctrination, thrust into the maelstrom of Vladimir Putin's quixotic crusade against Ukraine. Dispatched in the waning days of October last year, some 10,000 North Korean warriors clad in garb of unyielding loyalty have crossed the vast Eurasian expanse, not merely to spill blood in proxy for their Slavic benefactors, but to confront an adversary far more insidious than the Ukrainian artillery, the siren song of unfettered internet access. These paragons of proletarian virtue who back home navigate the barren intranet of state-sanctioned propaganda like blind moles in a bureaucratic labyrinth now find themselves ensnared by the voluptuous vortex of pornography. One might quip that they've traded bayonets for bandwidth only to discover that the true front line is not Kursk, but the keyboard. Now then, let us unfurl this tapestry of the absurd with the gravatas it so richly deserves, or perhaps the levity it inadvertently demands. According to the perspicacious dispatches from the Financial Times' Gideon Rachman, these North Korean neophytes to the digital realm are not merely dipping a toe into the torrent. Nay, they are gorging on pornography with the fervor of starred aesthetes at a banquet of forbidden fruit. A source deemed usually reliable by Rachman's exacting standards, though one wonders if said informant hails from the shadowy echelons of Moscow's intelligence apparat or merely a bemused barista in Vladivostok, whispers that these soldiers, heretofore hermetically sealed from the world's lascivious library, have never beheld such boundless bandwidth. In the Democratic People's Republic, where the dear leader's gaze pierces even the ether, the merest glimpse of impure cultural contents invites the gallows' grim embrace. The Seoul-based database Center for North Korean Human Rights, that vigilant chronicler of Pyongyang's puritanical excesses, recounts testimonials of executions meted out under Kim Jong-un's watchful eye. A furtive download here, a contraband clip there, and poof, off to the Reaper's roster for disseminating the devil's doodles. Small wonder, then, that these expatriate enforcers, alighted upon Russian soil like pilgrims to a profane Mecca, should succumb so spectacularly to the allure of the algorithm. It's as if they've been handed the keys to Plato's cave, only to project not shadows of enlightenment, but something considerably more anatomical. And oh, be the consternation that this cybernetic carousel has wrought in the Kremlin. Whispers abound that President Putin himself, that ursine architect of autocracy, is seized by dismay bordering on the existential. Imagine the Tsar of Tanks, his brow furrowed, not over ballistic trajectories, but browser histories, fretting that his imported infantry, massed near Ukraine's beleaguered border, were preferring pixels to projectiles. In fact, NATO's sentinels and the Pentagon's augurs have corroborated the troop surge. Vessels of Russia's Pacific Fleet ferrying these far eastern phantoms from the Korean littoral to ports of Vladivostok, thence by rail to the ragged front. Satellite sentinels capture their drills in the hinterlands, with brigades coalescing like storm clouds over the Amur. Yet, as Major Charlie Dietz of the U.S. Department of War demurs with diplomatic drollery, as entertaining as this sounds, I cannot confirm any North Korean internet habits or virtual extracurriculars in Russia. Entertaining indeed, one cannot help but envision a Pentagon briefing room erupting in stifled laughter, the specter of strategic summits derailed by soldierly smut. Dietz, however, ever the paragon of propriety, pivots to the gravamen. The more serious aspects of this Pyongyang-Moscow pact, ratified in the Kremlin's marbled halls, which catapulted the DPRK into its inaugural odyssey of overseas belligerence. Question on bandwidth, hurl them, he suggests, to the apparatchiks of Moscow. Yet beneath this ribald revelry lurks a lament for the human condition, a poignant parable of liberty's double-edged sword. These North Korean nomads, yanked from the straitjacket of state surveillance, where even the wind whispers allegiance to the dear leader, now teeter on the precipice of epiphany and excess. In the land of free-ish web, they unearth not only erotica's ephemeral thrills, but the very essence of autonomy, the right to err, to indulge, to idle when duty demands dispatch. It is a microcosm of our own fractured epoch, where the great unwashed of authoritarian enclaves, granted a glimpse of the global agora, might choose memes over manifestos, cat videos over conquest. Will they return to the Hermit Kingdom, forever altered, smuggling not secrets but subversive scripts in their souls? Or will the regime's tendrils reclaim them, purging this pornographic apostasy with the zeal of inquisitors? One shudders to speculate, though, in a twist of cosmic comedy, perhaps Kim Jong-un's next missile test will be aimed not over Japan, but at undersea internet cables. For in the grand theater of tyrants and temptations, the real weapons of mass distraction may well prove more potent than any arsenal. And so, as the guns over the Ukraine thunder on, let us toast these wayward warriors. May their foray into the forbidden foster not just fleeting tingly sensations, but the faint dawn of defiant dreams. After all, in the battle for hearts and minds, who knew the victor would be armed with nothing more than a VPN and a vivid imagination? So what do you think? Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below, and also remember to check to see that you are still subscribed. Also, remember to visit today's sponsor, Black Forest Supplements Longevity Coffee, that turns your brew into a battle for youth. Link is in the description and pinned comment. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.